Amidst heightened fight in the party, Nepal Prime Minister has now recommended dissolution of the House of Representatives, which is the parliament. Remember, there have been growing fractions seeking the resignation of the Prime Minister.
A political crisis is brewing in India's neighbourhood as Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli decided to dissolve the parliament. The decision sparked protests that saw a section of the ruling party opposing the move. The move is now challenged in the Supreme Court of Nepal, where the future of Nepal's government hangs in balance. As the protest against PM Oli grows and the cracks in the Communist Party of Nepal widen, Crux Plus looks at what forced Prime Minister Oli to dissolve the parliament and how has Nepal's two superpower neighbours, India and China, responded to it. Before the top court of the Himalayan nation is a crucial question currently. Is the dissolution of the House of Representatives an unconstitutional act? Petitioners say that there is no clear provision in the Nepali constitution on the dissolution of parliament, and some have even called it a constitutional coup by the Prime Minister himself. Much of the movement forward in the political landscape in Nepal will now depend on the Supreme Court ruling in the matter. The President dissolved the parliament on the advice of the Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, who's been desperate to hold on to power. His clout within his party has been diminishing and his political rivals Prachanda and Madhav Nepal have been building pressure on him to step down, both as the Prime Minister and as the leader of the party. In a bid to arrest his downfall, Oli recommended the dissolution of parliament 18 months before the term of the government ended, pushing the country into political turmoil, bang in the middle of a pandemic, and with a possibility now that that could lead to an economic downturn for the country in these tough times as well. But what has surprised many the world over and the Nepali citizens themselves is the open interference by the other neighbour, China, in its internal domestic politics. For months now, the Chinese ambassador to Nepal, Hao Yanqi, has been holding meetings with the various factions of the Nepali Communist Party, notably Madhav Nepal, Prachanda and Oli himself, in a bid to ensure that he remains the Prime Minister and to avert a split in the party. But the arrival of a four-member delegation of the Communist Party of China right after the dissolution of parliament was an even more glaring evidence of the extent to which Beijing was willing to go to keep the Nepali leadership on its side. The delegation was led by Vice Minister of International Department of the Communist Party of China, Gao Yeju, and the delegation held talks with the President, the Prime Minister and the several factions of the Nepali Communist Party. However, when the question regarding the visit of the delegation was put to the Foreign Ministry of China, the spokesperson said that it was not particularly meant to look at the internal situation within the Nepali Communist Party, but largely to oversee the relationship between the two sides. Well, India has officially not commented on the developments in Nepal, saying that it's the internal matter of another country. This despite the fact that Prachanda has given an open call for India to not sit out during this current crisis. Former diplomats and policy experts believe that it is the right approach that India is taking, for the time being, by being silent on the matter, as India has burnt its fingers in the past and they believe that China too is unlikely to come out unscathed. This as there is a learning from the past that not only are Nepalese politicians astute but also fiercely protective of their sovereignty. India is just about overcoming a period of friction with Nepal after it passed a revised map last year that included 3 Indian territories: Limpiadhura, Kalapani and Lipu Lake. Not only that, KP Sharma Oli was seen making what many believed were totally unwarranted remarks regarding the Indian strain of COVID-19 being more virulent, or with regards to the birthplace of Hindu Lord Ram. After months of discomfort, 3 visits from the Indian side late last year by the Raw Chief, the Army Chief and the Foreign Secretary paved the way for some semblance of normalcy in relationship. and for the Foreign Minister of Nepal to visit India for the Joint Commission meeting in December. Well, the visit has been deferred due to the political crisis in Nepal, but it is now likely that this will take place by the end of January. Will India and Nepal discuss the map issue? Will Nepal push for a review of the Eminent Persons Group report, which India has not yet looked into and is neither comfortable looking into on the face of it? These questions will determine the future course of the relationship.